Let us now start our day. The first half of the day today almost seems like Women's Day, and you'll figure out why. Our first speaker today is Susanne Pulverer, CEO and Chief Sustainability Officer at IKEA India. In her third stint in the Indian subcontinent with IKEA, Susanne is IKEA's first woman CEO. Susanne started out as the environmental manager for the IKEA group and moved on to IKEA of Sweden, the product development company, where she held various roles in different business categories. Today, as she joins us for a fireside chat, she will focus on building IKEA with trust in India. To steer the conversation, we have Omgita Awasthi of Whatfix joining her on stage for a fireside chat. May we have you on stage, please, Susanne and
Welcome, Susanne. Your journey with IKEA, basically the Lego for adults, is truly remarkable. Your path to becoming the CEO and Chief Sustainability Officer at IKEA India is incredibly diverse. You have been the MD communications, you have done the retail, the business risk and compliances, basically you've done it all. So today, we are going to talk about building IKEA with trust in India. So my first question is, how are you building trust with your two most important stakeholders, which is the employees and the customers, with a focus on PR and reputation? What role does that play in it?
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to have that conversation. And what a beautiful audience we have with so many women. I must compliment that this is the most diverse conference I've ever attended. And as you said, the women's morning maybe with a lot of speakers that are women. So thank you for that. It's maybe my favorite topic to talk about trust, because when one of my passion is leadership, the other one is sustainability, maybe the third is IKEA. But leadership, I think, it goes all around trust. And I worked all my years as a leader, building trust, starting from the closest circle of the people I work together with. And without the trust, I have seen and learned there is nothing you can do. And of course, trust is a wide word, and I thought the model I've used has circled around a couple. And when I work with teams, that's how I start from my closest circle to work with building trust, being very, very open and honest and straightforward when it's needed. And I think that needs to particulate out in the whole organization. Only when your co-workers and your colleagues have trust for your brand, for your company, for you as leaders in the organization, you can really become a strong organization and a strong brand. Then that needs to be taken forward out to the customers. And when I came to India, I met several agencies, and some of you are here in the audience, and I learned a lot. What I learned is trust is fundamental for Indian consumers. And without trust, you will have a hard time to succeed. And it's a long journey, and we have, of course, looked at companies who have been very successful, like Tata. They have been around for 200 years. We don't have that time, but to work on building trust that you need to earn is fundamental for a brand to establish itself in India. So we are on the journey to build the trust among the many co-workers and colleagues we have, but also the many customers and consumers.
And any role that you think how PR and reputation management is playing this role of supporting you in building this trust with your stakeholders?
I see, and I have an inclination for communication and PR and marketing from my time leading the in-house agency of IKEA. So of course I've also seen the real. We change what you can't really do without communication. So if we go back to the trust, you need to say what you think. So you need to communicate, and then you need to walk the talk as well. So communication is essential for any organization, for any leader, for any business. And I see I need to, as a CEO, work very closely with my communication colleagues and the whole. So both internally, as a multinational brand, we have a global organization where we also need to communicate, and then of course the whole market and all stakeholders that are external.
So one might say that IKEA is ubiquitous, finding its place in virtually every household today. So as an IKEA India leader, what inspires your outlook on trust, and how do you drive and sustain it?
I think it inspires me that it builds from a core that further expands to circles after circles after circles. And it's the foundation for everything we do. And it's also so much connected to the culture of IKEA. And I'm sure many of you have heard about the values. We have a very strong value system, and part of that is to be very open, honest, transparent, and yet very humble. And when we work with communication, it's always the co-workers first, and from there we move on. And we have learned many lessons during the 8 years of existence, and one is be transparent and be very good with your communication, because then you get people with you.
Noted. What would the success of acquiring trust mean for IKEA in India?
No, as I said, it's the foundation for being successful as a new brand. And looking at the development of India, it's of course an amazing growth story we are exploring and finding right now. And still, it's a young country. And what I've learned is that retail is fairly new compared to many other parts of the world. And consumers are also looking for guidance. So how do you get guidance? You look at where you can trust. And the trust is then fundamental when you make your choices. So it's the base for establishing the brand. And it's how we want to position IKEA is to be trusted, meaningful, so really adding value, and unique. And by that, we think we can be a loved brand and a loved company that offers things that are meaningful to the many Indians.
You have been with IKEA for the last 27 years, if I'm not wrong. Share with us your journey, how it started, and how you've grown with the organization, and of course, reaching where you've reached today.
Yeah, 27 years, I can't make it too long, but I think when I was young, I couldn't think so much long term, so I looked at opportunities that came my way, and I chose to take them or not take them. So it led me into IKEA, and it was a random thing that happened, and I got the opportunity to become environmental manager. And I had not really the background, but I think the CEO back then saw the potential. So I took the chance because it was a chance, and he took the chance. And that's a little bit IKEA giving people opportunities. And then what was fantastic is that you can change job, but you don't have to change the company. So I've had 10 jobs in very different specialities, functions, verticals of IKEA. So as you started, I moved in the value chain from product development to sourcing, to retail, to communication and risk and compliance as well. And that's the beauty with IKEA. You can grow with the company. You don't have to leave the company, but you can continue to develop and actually move across. And maybe somewhere in the beginning or second, third job, I started to make my plans that I want to become a business manager for product development. But that never happened, and it was some point where I almost left IKEA, where I had a manager who didn't really support me to take that. So I was very, very disappointed. So I thought, should I leave, should I stay? But I stayed. And after that, I never made a goal of what will my career be. But I always did enjoy where I was and did my best. And that led me to the next and to the next. So when I coach my colleagues around and people who have ambitions to grow, I say, don't think about your next step too much. Don't set up your plans that you will be this or that. But work really well, enjoy the journey, and the career will come to you. So that's my biggest learning, that if you just aspire to become something, you forget where you are and enjoying, and then maybe it doesn't come to you also. Yeah.
That's lovely. So basically you had your trust in IKEA and you continued.
Yes.
Awesome. I noticed that your first job in IKEA, of course, started in 1997, was, as you also shared, as an environmental manager for the IKEA group. Then you came to India in 2007 as the sourcing manager of IKEA, the second time in 2017 as a sustainability manager. What brought you back to IKEA, and of course now, third time in India, where you're leading the India IKEA?
Yeah, you asked me why I came to India. Of course, I got very connected to India. My first trips here, which was business trips, and I always thought if I could work and live in India, it would be fantastic. And I got the opportunity in 2007, and my 4 years was overwhelming and so fundamentally changing me, even if I was close to 50 when I came. It really impacted me as a person. So coming from a science background, I was very rational. Coming to a very spiritual country, it opened my eyes. And it really had an impact on me, I must say, that I didn't just say that you have to have facts and figures and be rational. There are something bigger than that. And that left me with such a strong connection to the country, to the culture, to the people, that I wanted to come back. So I got, the second time I really asked for coming back, and I got the opportunity. The third time, as I just said, I never planned to come a third time. I never thought I would have this opportunity. It was not in my books. And when the question came, I was very surprised, but I could also not say no. So for the third time, my whole home has shipped through the ocean to India, back again, here, back again, and now for the third time, I live here since 2 years. Yeah.
So you talked about, a time when it wasn't very clear about what your next steps would be in IKEA, and also how you managed through. What inspired you to keep going on and not give up at that point of time?
Yeah, it has been not only one time where maybe the career or your situation is not the best, or you don't feel at ease. Of course, there are good managers and less good managers, and that's the same in IKEA. Not everyone, even if we spend a lot of time when we recruit and how we train in leadership. So ultimately it is, sometimes you need to pull your socks up and your sleeves and then continue to work. and you get to a better place, and then sometimes it should have been also to take a step outside. So it was not something I decided early on, I will never leave IKEA. But of course now, 27 years, I have such a fantastic network in the company. I feel so close to the roots of it, and it's hard to imagine something else for me right now. So I think the trust in the company, maybe in the end, the people who are IKEA, because it's all about the people. So many good, fantastic people, colleagues that I have.
Noted. So sustainability has been very close to you. You started with environmental manager, then sustainability has been, I think, very closely rooted in every role that you've taken up at IKEA. So today, as the Chief Sustainability Officer at IKEA, could you elaborate on how this commitment to sustainability is woven into the organizational fabric and how it influences decision making?
Yeah. What was decided a couple of years ago, that the CEOs need to take on the responsibility clearly for sustainability, and that was a move to ensure it's integrated. So all CEOs in all countries in IKEA are not only CEOs, they are also chief sustainability officers, to really make clear this is a responsibility that you carry with you. I love that. Then there is a team and a sustainability manager who supports this. So the whole act of this is to make it integrated in everything we do. And many of you have heard you get what you measure. So what happened also a couple of years ago is that the financial results are not the only measurement of success. It is value creation goals, as we call it. And they have 4 dimensions. One is how the co-workers feel about being at IKEA, working at IKEA. The second is the happiness of the customers. The third is the financial results. And the fourth is the planet impact we have. So we measure sustainability, and by that it gets also integrated in a better way. But it is to bring it in every business discussion, the impact any decision has on sustainability.
Noted. It's really nice to see how you're not saying employees but co-workers. Is that mindset for IKEA across?
Yes, I don't know from where it comes. I think it's from the culture and values. It's natural. So employees becomes a little bit transactional, we feel. Co-workers, sometimes I say colleagues, to make clear that we are all the same. We are all people working together in IKEA. And there is no one who has a more important role than another. We are all there for a purpose.
It's lovely how it resonates. Going back to your roots in communications, given the current global economic conditions, the unpredictable geopolitical situation worldwide, and the technological advancements like Gen AI, how do you perceive the evolution of communications from when you joined IKEA 2 years ago as the CEO, not joined, but took the responsibility of CEO and CSO at IKEA in 2022, to now in 2024? What will you do differently this year, and why?
No, I think we all see how fast it's going. So the technology development is driving the whole communication agenda and society agenda as well. So artificial intelligence in its evolving forms is of course on everyone's lips, and will have a big impact, and we see it already in the last 2 years. There's hardly one day where it's not on the big media news what's happening. So it has immense opportunities and immense risks as well. So I have big respect. I see it as one of the big threats to humanity, actually. but I also see it as one of the big solutions to the problems that we face in the world. But it needs to be handled very carefully. And what we can do is to learn and to be part of the development and try to understand how we can use it for its best in an ethical way.
Yeah, absolutely. So from your role as MD Communications in India to now leading the India group for IKEA, what are 5 things that you want to share with the room here, filled of leaders and communication people? What would you recommend, or 5 things from communications perspective that you would want people to be mindful of when they're creating their 2024 strategies?
1, transparency. Yeah, so I think it starts there. It's painful sometimes because it might not be the situation might not be what you would like to, but I think still transparency comes first. Then starts with your circles. What is closest to you? Your own people. Always make sure you have them with you, informed. That is second. I bring in the question we started with, trust. Think about how you build trust. You have to gain trust and the components of trust and work around that. That's 3. Yeah, what should I say more with communication? Work very closely together with the management team. Make sure you are part of the management team, if not already. Make sure you are connected, because as a communication specialist or leader, you need to be close to where the decisions are made, and you need actually to be part of the decisions that are made and not just execute them. So I see it as essential to have communication as part of a management team when leading any business or organization. And yeah, it's part of leadership, maybe it's number 5. See it as a leadership skill. Communication is not just a support, it's how you lead in any organization.
Noted. One message that you would want to share with all PR and communications fraternity?
One message. I think I said these 5. What should I? No, yeah, the trust. Let's go back to the trust. I think it's the foundation for communication. Build trust with the ways. Say what you mean and do what you say.
Absolutely. And also from the diversity perspective, I think that has also been very close to your heart. So any initiatives that you'd launched in India and the impact that you'd see?
Yeah, so we see the EDI, equality, diversity and inclusion, as part of the bigger sustainability topic that needs to be integrated in everything we do. And when we came to India, we made a commitment to be gender diverse, which we have succeeded. Then we need to never take a rest, because it can slip in the wrong direction. So we are 50-50 in around 45 to 55 in all organizations, all levels. Then we are looking into how we further expand diversity agenda, because we know diversity and inclusion is a human right, but it's also very good for business. So diverse teams perform better, all research show that, and are more creative and innovative. So just as we speak, we have a team who are working on our next plan for EDI, how we further expand it from gender diversity.
Amazing. Now I think we can open the floor for questions. If you have any questions for Susanne, please share.
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Padma Kumar from Manipal Institute of Communication. I head the PG programs at Manipal. So I have one question to you. So in terms of product life extension, recycling and waste reduction, and also designing the products for longevity in IKEA, Especially you give a lot of importance to circular economy, right? So what are some of the challenges that you faced during this journey of sustainability, and how does the company overcome them? That's my question.
It's a very good question, and the journey of sustainability in IKEA started before me in '97, so it started already in the '80s, and of course having the uniqueness of influencing and kind of owning the whole value chain, from we look at the needs of the consumer at their homes to designing the products, sourcing the products, distributing the products, and also meeting the customer with the product. We can influence all steps. And a lot of efforts have gone in to making the products designed in a sustainable way, so that we use sustainable, more sustainable, I should say, raw material when designing the product, and making products that also help to live a more sustainable life at home: water saving, energy saving, waste sorting, air purification, etc. So then we come to the next, which is the circular society, and we know we need to move in that direction. There are many challenges, and we have done so many trials in India and also elsewhere. So we have had some really good examples, and we have had many, many failures. And I think the society needs to work much more together on this, because a single company cannot fix it. Because if you want to really close the circle, you need consumers to participate, you need legislation to support it, you need to take away the hinders for it, you need to enable business to really recycle and then reuse and put it into the loop again. So there are many hinders on the way, you can say. And it needs to start with a very big awareness that we need to close the loop and work in a circular way in the future. And in India, there are many things that work, and there are many things that does not work on this. So we are I wouldn't say we have cracked any code of being circular, but we make trials in different ways, and we have some really good examples as well.
But how do you see it? Doesn't it really affect the business? You know, when you think so much about it, circular economy especially.
Yes, it affects in what way you mean affects the business?
In terms of profits, because if you are designing a product for longevity, then obviously
affects the business. I think, yes, it's a good business to do good business, so you need to move into becoming circular. Then I want to emphasize that the products should give long joy and durability. That's how we design them. So quality is one of the aspects when we look at democratic design. Sustainability is another aspect: low price, well designed, and good function. These 5 are key when we put any product out on the market. So to find ways to make it possible, and also, of course, in the long run profitable, is an obligation I think all businesses have today, to support a more sustainable way of living, and the world will call for it, and it will increase in need more and more as we move into the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi Susanne. I'm Rukmani. I'm from Ad Factors PR. I just wanted to ask you one question. From the time IKEA came to India, how have you seen the sentiments of Indian consumers evolve and change over? I think 2018 is when you came to India first, I believe. So how have you seen the sentiments evolve from there to now? So,
I think I look for every time I came back, a lot has happened. I see a very fast evolving country, and it's incredible with what speed it happens, and of course how people can upgrade their lives, and you see it on the streets, you see it on people's lifestyles, and we see it also in people's possibilities to further enhance their lives. So I think we did a recent survey, a Life at Home survey, and what is so special with India is when we look at the global figures and India, what the outlook is for the future. It's much more positive in India. So more than 70% say I have a positive outlook for the coming 2 years, compared to 50 if you look at the global. So it's society that is young, vibrant, developing, and it's just amazing to see how it's coming up. And of course that also impacts people's opportunities to come to IKEA and be a customer. We want, and our ambition is to be for the many, but of course to really reach the many Indians will take some time, and we are not accessible and we are not also affordable for the many yet, but that's the ambition.
Got it. Thank you.
I have a follow-up question to whatever Rukmani asked. It's just when your audience basically, or your customers, who do you think is more, the youngsters are more interested in IKEA, or people of age are also, you know, taking interest in your products, because there is also a DIY aspect there. So who do you think? Just a follow-up question.
Yes, I would say the generation, the little bit younger generations are very open to it, and also test and try, and want to see if they can assemble, which they can if they follow the instructions. So I think there is, but if we look at who is coming, it's many times also families in all generations who come and explore IKEA, and maybe the first and second visit is to understand what is this about and what can IKEA offer me. So it takes please come and visit the store if you haven't, but it takes a little bit of effort to understand the full scope, the offer we have. But I think the younger generations many times have lived abroad, maybe studied abroad or traveled, have explored IKEA outside India. They are the first to come and knock on the doors, I would say. Yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Hi, good morning. You mentioned that AI was a threat and also a great opportunity, but one of the biggest pulls, in my personal opinion, for IKEA is the product design. So how much of AI currently in 2023, 2024, do you guys rely on AI to design such products and come up with product ideas, etc.? Coming from both the threat angle and the opportunity angle as well.
I think I cannot fully answer this because, as we just said, a lot has happened the last 2 years on AI, and we are in IKEA is organized in different companies for the whole value chain. So product development, where I used to work, is based in Sweden, where IKEA started back then. And I'm not so close into how they do it, so I can't fully answer this question. I know we look into, when meeting the customer, in different ways to use AI, because that's retail part. So there I can say we do different trials and use AI in different ways to improve the meeting with the customer. On the design part, I'm still not clear if we do so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good morning, Susanne.
Good morning.
I'm Ratika from SPAG. My question to you is, as per your the company's global mandate, you wish to reduce emissions by 30% until 2030 and 50% by 2050. Does that also, does this inclusion of sustainability also meet affordability of Indian customers? And or how would you explain that better, or would it be a trickle down effect on the end customer ultimately?
Yeah, very good question. As a company, we have said there are two areas where we should advocate and we should be activists, and one is on the gender diversity, as we started to talk about. The other one is climate change. And we have a CEO for the retail organization globally. He is so committed, and maybe you saw in the news, he spoke at Davos conference now. He is pushing every country of IKEA to work on limiting the emissions of CO2 to combat the climate change. And we have made commitments, as you said. And from the very, very beginning, when we started to work with sustainability, we were always saying sustainability should not be for the few, it has to be for the many, and it should not cost more. Because we believe in the long run, maybe in an initial phase you need to invest, that's good cost, but over time it should be a good business to do good business. So the initiatives of renewable energy that we invest in, it is actually very good business. We have an investment arm of IKEA who have done investments in renewable energy for many years now. And it's a very, very good business. So it should not impact consumers with increased prices. On the contrary, it should, over time, make IKEA more affordable. And it's an obligation just to work on the climate change for everyone, I think. So no higher prices.
Hi, my name is Shruti. My research area is sustainability communication. So I would like to know what's IKEA's plan to communicate about sustainability, because usually it is put up in a sustainability report, maybe on a website, nobody checks that out. So how do you see that, how do you see IKEA going forward with communicating sustainability to the young people who would take this seriously?
Yeah, no, it's also a very good one. And as I started in '97, I have some years of experience, and I can say it's never enough. And we are never satisfied. And our consumers or customers are always telling us, why don't you speak up more? Why is your voice not heard? And we are trying, and then again, it's never enough. So I think, yes, we do communicate today. If you walk the store, you will see sustainability messages. If you walk the store, you will come to a small area where it's a sustainability shop showing how you can live more sustainable life at home on the website and in different ways. I'm talking at conferences, and I'm not the only one. So we and we do a report, as you say, and that maybe not so many read. But it's never enough, and I think we just need to continue our endeavors to spread what we do, because it's of course inspiring more people and creating more awareness. But I'm not happy with the level, so I think we can do more.
Thank you.
Hi Susanne, this is Akanksha from Indian. I have a question in terms of your communication strategy, especially when it comes to a market like India. So of course IKEA came to India quite recently in comparison to a lot of, I would assume, your local competitions. And in a market like India, when it comes to longevity of products, there was a traditional mindset that, you know, we must go towards the brands that we have trusted. So how has been the IKEA's communication strategy in conveying that advocacy to the consumers in India?
So I think we are learning as we go, and when we came, we built on what we knew. So how we started to position IKEA was to be for the many people, affordable, and that has been a very strong message. And what we have seen now over the 5 years is a need to become even more relevant for the Indians and the Indians' home. So we need to relook at, so if you will look closely at the marketing coming out, you will see it's more connected to India, it's made more relevant to India. We are showing homes that are Indians to show how our solutions and products can fit into the Indian context. So I think we need to become more Indian, but still keep the uniqueness of IKEA. And that is something that is evolving over the experience that we get from being here, now having been open and operating 5 years. So we can't just take IKEA concept and place here and the global context and place here. We need to make it much more relevant here in India. So it means adjustments as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So many good questions here. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Susanne. Today, IKEA is synonymous to joy of building, and this has been a truly fantastic session. And thank you, Amit, for giving me the opportunity to moderate this session. Thanks, Susanne.
Thank you, Omgita. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Susanne, for sharing